really, really special live episode with Ben from BMTalks Ball and also Sam from Villa Park Podcast. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad. Sam, you doing good?
I am all right, buddy. I'm doing well. Now that
James, are you all right, mate? Because you really struggle with that intro, dude. Are you okay, James? What the fuck happened there? Can we start again? What just happened? This is
Run it back.
This is Ben from.
Oh, that's shocking, wasn't it? Oh,
Right, where's my notes? Where's me
I thought it was
notes?
on Channel
Don't give a
4
shit.
News.
Don't care. Don't care. Look, it's not easy, this host malarkey.
You had one
yes,
job,
anyway,
mate.
so-
One job.
It's so serious, James. It's like James reporting live from Gaza. Like,
Oh, anyway.
Good start,
right.
boys. It's a good start, James. Well done, mate. The intro's
Thanks,
been done
mate. Yeah,
brilliantly.
cheers. So what we're going to talk about here is actually the main topic, but I'm sure we'll probably go on tangents because that's usually what happens here on every week we follow. The first thing that we're going to try and talk about, though, is post-window expectations for the season. But first, let's maybe get into a little bit about that window. That deadline day was a bit fucking mental, wasn't it, if I'm honest?
Who wants to go first? Ben, go on.
Yeah, you can say it was mental, weren't it? I don't think we was expecting the business to be done what actually materialised, and not obviously the Emi Martínez piece, which I'm sure we'll probably come on to at some point. But I think in hindsight, when you look at how the window actually went, and if you read the Jacob Tanswell article, which I presume most people have at this point, the work that the club has actually done in the window, I think is phenomenal myself. I don't know about you guys.
Sam?
Yeah, I think I'd give it like... I think before...
James, your name's James, right? I just let Sam speak.
What the fuck? Okay, fine, go on, Sam. Jesus Christ, what's it like?
Gary went, Sam, what do you think? And you went, well, I think.
Oh, I didn't hear Sam.
Not even listening, Sam.
James is too busy thinking about what he's going to say. He's not listening to everyone else.
This is going well, innit? This is going well.
I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with my mate Ben here. It's tough because obviously we were like pretty hamstrung with what we could do, and you have to see the underlying factor for all of it, right? We have to take that into consideration that there wasn't a lot we can do. But for me, it just seemed a little bit last minute, a little bit panicky. But it's again without apportioning blame to any individual or the club itself. It just, I think Harvey Elliott's a brilliant signing. I'm sure we'll come on to a bit more in depth on each player, but I just look at what we're missing from the team and what we picked up, and I feel like we need more. Like we needed a right back desperately. Like at this point, I'd be willing to volunteer and jump on a right back instead of Matty Cash. And then you've got a serious lack of pace in the team, and then we need wingers. We need more than one winger, but we bought one, and we settled on Jadon Sancho, who's brilliant at a lot of things, but pace isn't really his strong suit, is it? So it's like, yeah, we've brought in some higher profile players than maybe I would have expected to, but it doesn't. I don't know. I don't think it's what we needed. Although they're brilliant players, I don't think it was what the team needed right now.
Yeah, I think I've seen a tweet from EB Tennies on Twitter, and he summarised it really well for me. I've got it in front of me here. So if you look at it this way, Gessan for Ramsey, Marlon for Bailey, looking over the last 6 months, 2 transfer windows, Sancho for Rashford, Elliott for Asensio, Lindelof for Disasi, and Bizot for Olsen. I think it's arguable that potentially we have improved. I don't see much difference, really. I think the Rashford one comment...
Go through them one by one, Ben. Well, so Gessan for Ramsey, right?
Ramsey, yeah.
Is that an upgrade?
No.
It's hard to tell at this point, though, isn't it? He's only just coming to the league, fresh into the league. He's got a bed into the squad. I'd give that one time. Ramsey, fantastic player, but realistically, if he can't keep, he's had his injury concerns. He scored 2 goals in 2 seasons, so I don't necessarily think it was a bad sale getting rid of Jacob Ramsey for 39 million, and we don't know what Evan Gessan is at the moment. So at that point,
for that first one, we'll just say, well, we don't know if that was an upgrade or not. To be told, time will tell. So what's the next one?
Marlon for Bailey
as well.
Much of a muchness.
Well,
I'd say it's an upgrade,
isn't it? Because he hasn't.
Again, it's an unknown.
We haven't seen him play Ben at any level. He was good in pre-season.
I suppose so. I saw enough of Leon Bailey last season to say that anyone's an upgrade.
Yeah, but imagine the Bailey
that,
from the
100%.
season before that when we got to the Champions League.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That Bailey was unreal. We know what Bailey's ceiling is. We don't know what Marlon's ceiling is.
Yeah,
and so far,
it's a different player as well.
Emery doesn't even seem to fancy playing him in the first place. Like, forget ability.
I can't work this out though. I can only think that he actually sees Marlon potentially as actually more of an alternative to Watkins rather than actually a right winger, because obviously Bailey plays a lot wider, right? And actually, I think I said as much as I think Matty Cash gets a massive slating, I do think he's better with an actual right winger, so he can actually overlap. Whereas when he's got Marlon's coming inside, Cash can't then bomb on because he's got it just doesn't work. So I do wonder whether Harvey Elliott, if he's out on the right and he plays properly out on the right, then and he'll also track back, that Cash might actually be able to bomb on a bit more and use some of his attacking qualities. But
Marlon won't give you that, and that's the point, though, isn't it? So so Marlon for Bailey, if he plays, yet to be seen. Then who else?
Well, what about Harvey Elliott for Bailey?
Yeah, but Harvey Elliott's not a winger. He's not a winger.
He can play tenor off the right, can't he?
But he's played mainly on the right wing for Liverpool.
He can play. Yeah, because that's the only place they shoehorn him in, because they've got 50 cams. His natural position is he's a number 10, right?
10, yeah.
What's that?
What's Gary doing? Gary's showing what's going on TikTok.
Very good.
Just trying to get a bit of an insight into it all.
I think Harvey Elliott's he's a really exciting prospect, but he's 22 years old. He's never really had a consistent run of games anywhere. So he's, although you see spurts of brilliance from him, how's he going to cope playing in a team where we don't have all the ball, where he's going to have to sit back and hold his position, and he's going to have to defend more. He's going to have to learn how to transition the way that we transition, the way that we play it. With Liverpool, it's very, very counter-attacking football. With Villa, we hold the ball so much where you need your creative play to break the other team down. Yeah. It's not about these quick, incisive passes. He's got bags of ability, but again, it's not, is he talented or not? Yes, he is, but is it what we need?
I think that's the difficult. Well, I think the difficulty is that actually quite a lot of these signings are, Marlon as a previous signing, and then Elliott and Gasson, they're not unknown quantities, but we just don't know how they're going to develop. We don't know how they're really going to develop within this team. And I think that's the difficulty with the need. We kind of need something now. So I guess we'll just have to see how they kind of develop.
I think Gasson as well, just very quickly, make no bones about it, he spent his whole career as a number 9. We're shoehorning players into positions they don't generally play. And I said this on our the Villa part the other day, but look at how many players we play out of position. We've got John McGinn playing at right mid or right wing, whatever you want to call it. You've got Morgan Rogers, who's a number 10, playing on the left wing. You've got Tyrone Mings playing left centre back. You've got Yuri Tielemans in the 10 when really he should be in the 8. We have a habit of shoehorning players into positions they don't play, even though they're good players. And Harvey Elliott, if we play him, he's going to have to be out on the right. And that's not really his position. Gassan, if he plays, he's going to play out on the left wing. That's not really his position. Jadon Sancho, if he plays, he'll play out on the left wing. But then where does Gassan play? Who's? I know you need depth as well, but these are the players who are supposed to be saving our season. And you can't fit them all in. Whereas if you went and got a better right back, or if you'd got another proper centre back to compete for that role, if you'd have got rid of Martinez and got rid of all the all of the distractions around that and gone to get yourself another goalkeeper. It's this. I'm not saying we signed bad players. I'm just saying I'm not certain that we signed the ones that we wanted or we needed to. And we talk about the upgrades as well. The last one you said, Ben, was Rashford for Sancho. That's not an upgrade for me. I'll take Rashford every day. I'll take Rashford.
I didn't say that he was an upgrade. I'd agree with you.
That list that you read out, So if we compare, we've done the comparison of every player. Which one of those is really like a startling upgrade?
It's debatable.
I think for me, the good is does this mean, or as you've just alluded to, that we've got players playing in shoehorn positions that they shouldn't be playing? So could we actually start playing a different way Do you know what I mean? In terms of how we're going to approach games, instead of, because for me, we want to keep the ball, but the biggest thing that has frustrated me for the last season really is the lack of tempo in our play. Right, I understand the way we want to play. Right, that's fine. And teams have worked out how they want to play against us. They either sit deep and we can't break them down because there's minimal movement and the pace of the ball is not being quick enough, or they put a high press on us and we just make a mistake and we end up being pinned back. So for me, I'd like to see the latter where we keep possession, but in that final third, just be a little bit more decisive. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got to maybe drop Watkins, or can we play Watkins out left and play Gassard through the middle, play Marlon through the middle? Like if you look at any great team in the last 3-4 seasons, well, 10 years, like Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, if they've played with a front four, that 4-2-3-1, whatever it is, right? You have that fluidity in their attacking players. Where yes, they've got, you know, on paper you've got set positions. So and so's playing out on the right, so and so's playing on the left, so and so's in the middle, and you've got to pinpoint someone at the top. But the three behind them need to be fluid. They need to be able to kind of play across the front three. So when we sign Gassard, and it's kind of he can play in those all three positions. You've got Marlon, who yes, he's out on the right, but likes to come central. So let's just mix it up, because he's worked so hard with Ollie to kind of to work in and out the 18-yard box, right? Because he was a natural left winger. That's where he was at Brentford, and that's why he did at Exeter and all that kind of jazz. So I guess the question is, are we going to try something a little bit different up front to try and break these teams down? Because while they're not necessarily upgrades, and I agree with you, Sam, a little bit. It felt a little bit panicky at first, but I think Javier is a good signing that can inject a little bit of momentum into our play. But you're also right that we aren't necessarily going to have the ball against the better teams, and we're not going to play counter-attacking football. So it's up to him to actually be the key to unlock stuff. Just like we relied on Rashford and Asensio when they started in January, we had a massive uplift. So my hope is that when we, let the dust settle on, and we'll get into the Martinez thing in a minute, but in terms of once the dust settles after the international break, I fully expect that our energy levels go up, regardless of who plays, because there's either competition for places now, right? Because you've got, like you said, we've got all these people that can play in multiple positions, and hopefully that with the nonsense of Martinez hanging over us, and even the sale of JJ, do you know what I mean? We've got to draw a line in the sand now, haven't we? Because that seems to have disrupted the dressing room for me. And obviously, none of us know what's actually gone on in terms of things, but it's clearly affected the performance on the pitch. So now we need to come back after that international break and try something a little bit different for me.
Has anyone asked Justin what went on?
Yeah. It's weird because I had it on good information that Asensio was done.
Yeah.
So I thought that was going to come back, and then we. It's really
done. Apparently, he was at Moneyball, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. On the fluidity piece, I agree with you. I don't think Watkins will necessarily change. I think Watkins is absolutely shoe on up top. But I'll tell you what really excites me is the three behind Watkins now, because we've got so many players that can play in that role. Sancho, I really, really do like the idea of like a Sancho, Elliott, and then Rodgers interlinking with each other, because Elliott and Rodgers have played with each other at under 21 level. I just think them two together are going to absolutely flourish.
Yeah. I agree with that, Ben, because, and it's the same with, while I don't necessarily, the Sancho thing, mate, I'm totally on the fence with, because clearly he's mentally unstable. He just wants money, and he's been an absolute renegade at Man United, hasn't he? So it's either going to pay off for us, like the Rashford thing did, or it's going to be one of the biggest mistake signings we've ever made. But there is Dortmund links in there throughout the team. You've got Maatsen and Sancho have played together. So if you have them playing down the left-hand side, it suddenly gives us a fullback that's willing to bomb on, someone who's linked up with him before. They could cause absolute chaos down that left-hand side. And then you've got Marlon, who's played in that. So you've got almost like a core of players that are used to playing with each other. And that's what we need. We need a little bit of chemistry going on now. And like you just alluded to there, Ben, that front three behind Watkins, if they can develop some sort of relationship, because against Palace, right, I was so happy with the formation, but it was only going to work if we turned up with a bit of desire and passion, and the front four looked like they'd never played together. They were just kind of in their positions, and they weren't looking to play off each other. There was no kind of, it looked like there was barely any communication going on. They weren't looking for little give and goes. They weren't looking for balls in behind. Even though that was on, it was coming from deep. And so, hopefully, they haven't got a lot of time together, have they? So these two games back after the international break are going to be. My expectations aren't high. I just think can we improve the performance and maybe grab a couple of points, do you know what I mean? Because it's going to take time for them to bed in, right?
Especially with the difficult fixtures that we've got coming up, going to Everton's new stadium, and then also even Sunderland. It's not going to be easy in the slightest.
No.
Do any of you think we could see a potential shift in formation in terms of, last year we had predominantly the left attacking midfielder with the left wing back pushing higher, and then sometimes Matty Cash would get higher, or Boubacar Kamara would sit in. Is there scope potentially for a right attacking midfielder and then Sancho getting higher? Or what's your thoughts about that formation, Lou, how we're going to set up? Because I would like to see a change, and I'm agree with Sam as well. If I could have changed Matty Cash, I would have done it 3 years ago. But unfortunately, it just seems to be one that the club have not done. But coming into this summer, there was clearly other areas that were probably more pressing than what Matty Cash was, as sadly as that sounds. And it's a really strange one because he has cost us God knows how many already.
First 3 games, mate. He's like, the penalty against Palace, he's completely out of position. He's wrong side of Kamada. Let's not talk about that pass against Newcastle.
That cross against Newcastle was unreal.
The second goal against Palace as well, which gives the ball away for no reason.
Yeah.
Last game of the season, selling Emi Martinez about 30 yards too short.
So, I'd like to see a change. But the question is, if Garcia was fit, do you think he would have gone with Garcia at right back? And what do we think of Garcia? Because is he a worthy replacement?
I think he might have been sold. Personally, there was rumours that he was going, weren't there? But he's obviously got that injury, and he couldn't get the move. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think.
Sorry, go on.
That would have been bizarre.
No, I don't think he's convinced.
I suppose you would have used those funds to probably bring in someone potential. Would it be an understudy again? Like we just get Nedeljkovic gone, Garcia gone. Like, is Cash just going to be sitting there and just these people churning in behind him? Is that what's going to happen?
At this point, I'd rather have Sam. I'd rather have you at right back. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Mate, I'm mint. What are you talking about?
Look, can you see? He's Mo Salah. It's literally Mo Salah. Like running down.
When I was 6 at Sutton Coldfield United. I mean, to take I mean, look, I think it's going to be the year 2040, and we're going to have this whole brand new lineup, and Matty Cash will be playing right back. And it's just one of those things. He's like Thrush, mate. You can't get rid of him.
Christ alive.
My issue is though, on all of your points that you made about changing formation and doing this and that, I think you just kind of have to look at precedents. And Emery is not. He doesn't have like a great track record of changing his ways or even changing personnel. Like, I love Morgan Rogers. I think he's just got bags of ability, and he showed it last year, and he won the PFA Young Player of the Year and all of the other stuff. But there have just been countless times in the second half of last season, and even this season, where he needed to come off, mate. He was just 100%. Stinking up the gap. Like against Palace, he was just so by a country mile, apart from Cash, obviously that's a given. The worst player on the pitch, and I was just like, what more does he have to do? Like at half time when he took off Kassan and brought on Emi Buendia, who, by the way, Emi Buendia, just with a little bit of energy, the whole complexion of the game. But Morgan Rogers, like, I don't know what it is. I don't know where his head's at. I mean, people talk about Jacob Ramsey, but fucking grow up, mate. Like, let's not take the piss here. And
it was before Ramsey. Like, let's be realistic. He's been shit for a while.
Yeah. People, his friends left. Fucking grow up, mate. Like, what are we doing here? Are you at work? Imagine my work bestie leaving and me down in tools. I'm not writing any contracts. Fuck you, he's gone. Like, what are you going to do? Like, this is. I think this is the problem. Like, even if Morgan Rogers is, has been disturbed by and I think it's fair to say that the squad, may have been affected by the uncertainty and, the inability to spend and that kind of feeling that we're getting left behind by, the big six and evidently Palace. I can see that there's like unrest there, but the way that he played against Palace, I don't think there's any excuse for, because it's just basic principles of football, like, taking a first touch and just running about, putting yourself in there, getting in the right positions, tracking back. It's just a lot of it was just dog shit. And like for me, he needed to be replaced at half time, but he wasn't. And there's so many times this season and last season where I've thought the same thing, but Emery sticks with him. He's got his favourites. And that's the only reason that Pau Torres is still employed by this football club. is
should we be worried?
Pau Torres. God, don't get me on to Pau Torres.
We'll get on to Pau, but should we be worried then that with the favourites and stuff that how easy it's been to disgruntle our dressing room? Because it feels to me that the transfer window's done just that. Like I know we were crap against Man United, but we won 8 of our last 9 games at the end of that season. And
is that real?
Right.
Well, Matty Cash has just scored a goal.
I was literally just about to say. I was seeing in the comments, Matty Cash has literally just scored for Poland.
Mate, international football's like Sunday League football now. It's nowhere near like what it should.
So Matty Cash scored, and then the right back that we should have bought, Dumfries, also scored for Netherlands as well. That's
mate, yeah, Dumfries would have been.
So I'm sitting there slagging him off, and he's sitting there scoring worldies in horror. Good man.
Mate, he's like, in your face, Sam. Fuck you.
I bet he was like an overhead kick, like a backflip bicycle, something the world's never seen.
So get back to it. Should we be concerned that like because the first 3 games, I think we can all agree, have been absolutely shocking, right? We've been terrible in all 3. Like maybe second half against Newcastle with 10 men, we put a little bit of fighting to get a good point. But what do we do? How do we get that spark back? Because ultimately we could be 5 games, no points, or maybe no goals. Like you said, Ben, 2 very difficult away fixtures after the international break. So how do we go about fixing it?
If Sunderland away is a difficult fixture, we need to pack it up, boys.
Well,
I mean, you've got to give respect to every team in the league, but let's be honest, man. We're talking. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Like Champions League quarterfinalists last year, FA Cup semi-finalists. Big Villa, the Giants awake. What's happened? Is someone stuck?
I suppose so, but
it's only because of how we're playing. I think.
Yeah, but they're not inherently hard fixtures. We can't keep saying if Sunderland away is a tough fixture, is a tough away fixture, then they're all tough away fixtures. And
I think they are. I think any fixture away.
But it's a game. It's a game that we
should be winning.
Right?
We should be. But when you have to look at it and take it into a bit of context, considering how shit we've started, the team clearly isn't functioning very well. So it does. And when you've we've lost 2 out of 3 games. It becomes a tough fixture, and ultimately that Everton one will be difficult. They'll get well beyond their side, and Everton went to Sunderland Stadium and got beat. So,
if I said to you, what do you think we're going to get from the Everton game?
I don't know. I'm going to say I could take a point now, but I don't want to sound defeatist because realistically we should go there and beat them because we are a better football team.
Should be, right? But it's like that kind of thing of if we don't go there and win, then you're going to go into that Sunderland game on such a low.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it totally depends on how the performance is, right? If we go there and actually we're quite unlucky and we manage to we should win, then you go to that Sunderland game with a little bit of a different context. But at the moment,
mate, we've got to go back to basics. We've got to defend well. We've got to keep it tight at the back in those close spaces, not allow people to play through the lines. And we've got to try and be clinical in the final third because as shit as we were against Palace, if Watkins had scored that chance in the 42nd minute, right, from 4 yards out, goals change games. Going to that one at half time. I'm not saying we would have won the game because we were crap, but maybe we pick up another point and you start building a bit of momentum.
It would have been nice to score a goal at some point in the season, to be fair. That would have helped.
It'd be quite good to go to a game and celebrate a goal. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it?
On another point, Gary just made a point about defending. Mate, when was the last time we actually defended well on a consistent basis? We've leaked goals for fucking a long time now. We had that season where I think the season when Emery first come in, leading up to the conference, and we were fantastic defensively. We were solid, and we based everything around a solid defense. And then the next season, he goes and signed. I think that's when Pau Torres come in, and we was a bit looser, but we was a bit more expansive, scored more goals. Got Champions League, so everything's rosy, but ultimately we still had an issue defensively. We were shit defensively, and we've come into the next season, and we just carried on that theme, and it's just not been fixed.
Kevin in the comment, you guys can't see the comments, but I'm looking at it. He makes quite a good point. I've said this about Villa for the last 2 seasons: is score first, and the game's totally different for us. We need to score early. We look totally different team when we score in that first half an hour. We tend to the season before last, we tend to just blow teams away when we scored that first goal. And if you remember rightly, there was also a stat where I think we'd only lost 1 game or something when we went ahead. Whereas last season we couldn't. How many times did we concede the first shot It was ridiculous. Like we couldn't keep a clean sheet for love nor money. And that again, and we all have our opinions on Ollie Watkins, but again, that just puts so much pressure on Watkins in that he had to score 2 for us to even try and win a game because no one else was scoring. And we concede so early that then we're just hitting an uphill struggle. And this season, I mean, equally this season, Newcastle 0-0, Brentford an annoying 1-0, and then Palace we got absolute. Well, we didn't. It's a weird one, Palace, because like they were just clinical. They were really clinical.
Well, mate, it was a masterclass because they only allowed Cash to go forward with the ball. He got into the final third, turned back, give it away, and then so they went from the block to the press, and we couldn't compete. Like Mateta and Sarr and Martinez just absolutely destroyed us. They picked us apart. They were clinical. You're right. And they had like 4 shots, but that's what they came to do. They know how to play against us. Glasner's got Emery's number, and it's frustrating that although we changed the clientele for probably something that we all were happy with, maybe we didn't turn up. There was no energy in the team. Like first 20 minutes, okay, like we did all right, pinned them back. As soon as the goal went in, like we weren't in the game. Like it was only there was only one winner. It could have been 4 or 5 by the end of it. They were picking chances apart at the end, and like it was really really disappointing to see. It felt like we down tools. Now whether that's because of the transfer window or because like I agree with you, Sam. Like, fucking, you got to grow up a little bit. Like, this happens. It's football. Players come and go. Like, as much as it affects us as fans because we fall in love with them emotionally, but as a professional footballer, like, just do your job. Just turn up and fucking like do what you pay to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, just angers me.
Generally.
I agree. Oh, I really like is that we fall in love with them emotionally as opposed to physically. We're just sleeping with all the players. That's really
Mate, it's not for the one trying.
Do you know what it is? Oh, yeah, we know what. Were you trying to sleep with at the football, Gary? We had this chat.
Gary playing with 15-year-olds. Like, that's what's happening.
Look, there's a really. Oh, God. Gary, I'm going to cut because whatever you're going to say is going to make it worse. I'm going to cut you off for your own sake. So there's a really, really simple template and formula to beat Villa. It's really, really simple. Yeah. Sit back, let them have the ball because they're not creative enough to break you down if you have 10, 11 men behind the ball.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have the right personnel to hit them on the counter. That's it. It's literally the first 3 games have been an exercise of give Villa the ball and hit them on the counter. Brentford did it. Palace did it. Newcastle would have done it. But obviously when Conte got sent off, kind of change of complexion, they have to go forward a little bit more. But I think the better teams will just come at you and be like, we're not going to sit back and let you have the ball. We're just going to bat at you. But everyone else, the formula for playing Villa is really simple. And I think there's a lot of talk about how we should play. Or, Emery plays this style of football, but really we should be playing like this. And, we should, be quicker in the transition. We should be this. And yeah, the pace of the play is far too slow, far too often. But for me, what I always say is it's not about, change the way you play. It's learn when to play certain ways. You can't have one way of playing. You can't have, Unai Emery can't just like abandon his tactic now of being good in possession. That works really well if you're already 2 goals up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But when you're chasing the game or when you're going forward in the first instance, play with a bit more tempo, take a bit more risks. And you can even see it from, sorry, very quick. You can see it from the first 2 team sheets of the year. Super defensive, double pivot. Onana and Kamara and Tielemans in the 10, but really acting as an 8 and just sit back. Don't get beat, boys. And it's a really weird mentality for the talent that we do have on the pitch. Matty Cash aside. Sorry, John, you carry on.
Yeah, if anyone listening does have a sniper, if you see Matty Cash get to the and then turn back on himself and then pass it back to either Conser or Mings, someone put a bullet in him. Please.
No, Matty Cash, you'll probably fall over and you'll hit Mings. Just don't do it.
Someone just said actually his goal was actually like top bins.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was.
Of course it was because for Villa.
No, what I was going to say was actually Emery said actually multiple times recently that like I've really heard him say it before. He's like talking about different ways of playing and like trying to work out or working on different ways of playing. So I'm guessing, I mean, not reading into that, I'm literally taking what he's saying as gospel that, the fact is that it's pretty obvious that these teams are going to sit on a low block on us, and we need to find a way to break them down. That's just not to our strengths at the moment. That's just
you
not
need to
the
draw
way.
them out.
But you know, you'd have Emi standing there with the ball, wouldn't you, for like what, 2 minutes, just stood there waiting for them to come. Whereas now the problem is well, say against Brentford, we went down quite early, and then Palace we went down, and so there's no point. They're not going to bait onto us. They're not going to come to us. So it's quite difficult. And then with Newcastle, they only came at us when Konsa got sent off, and that actually opened up some holes in their midfield and allowed us to get some chances towards the end. But yeah, it's just frustrating at the minute, and I just don't know what we can really do. We've got to use the width. We talk about using the width because if someone plays a low block on you, you got to spread the play wide, and maybe that's why, you know, Elliott and Sancho potentially offer us that. I don't know, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we line up against Everton, I suppose.
Mate, honestly, I think we've all been Villa fans too long because it's all sounding a little bit doom and gloom, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah, right, mate. Honestly, it's horrible, isn't it? So I suppose let's get on to like expectations for the season now. So I mean, what were your guys' expectations at the start of the season? I suppose first.
I always said sixth. I thought we would. I thought Unai Emery. There's no reason why we would not get European football again. We've been consistent under his stewardship, but then obviously with the way we've started, I kind of dropped my expectations, and I thought, to be honest with you, if we get top 10 at one point, it would be a miracle, which sounds absolutely wild. My expectations for the season now, though, with the signings, I still think seventh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if I'm being a bit pessimistic.
No, I think the start of the season, I was hoping for sixth, if I'm honest. Like, I think those around us have strengthened quite a lot as well. I think sometimes, like, you know, even Spurs are somehow managing to not be Spursy. But like I've been looking at it thinking like eighth is probably around where we'll be. But I mean, me and Gary spoke a lot about the focus this season has to be winning the Europa League. Like, that has to be our aim. Like, and you look at Spurs last season, if you're 17th and won the Europa League, no one gives a rat's about them finishing 17th. No one cares. Did you see, by the way, Daniel Levy's stepped down as chairman, by the way? Yeah,
dangerous that is for the Premier League, mate. Realistically, Spurs have got everything financially to be able to compete with all the top sides.
Yeah,
and he was the man holding the back.
I'm worried about a takeover coming in, if I'm honest, and oil money basically being able to be spent because their revenues are really high.
Yeah, I was on a event with Green King, and I spoke with a Spurs fan who's got very close links. He's a Stu, come on you Spurs, or something on TikTok, and he's released multiple transfers before it's happened, and he told me that Spurs are basically about to be taken over. It's very, very close. So, yeah,
you know that's where the ITKs are as well. So that
yeah, I'll give him his credit though. He's I've seen his shit on TikTok, and he's very a lot more reliable than our ball fraud. Yeah,
that's good.
He might have just got it wrong. You know, his source might have been wrong. Maybe he was talking to the guy at McDonald's or something.
Was he what? How many was it though? You know, he also said that the third shirt was the badge was just the lion. What was the other one that he said?
I think he got some dodgy information from Nassif and Wes. To be fair to him, that's not his fault. Like, he's in constant contact with the top of the club.
Oh God.
Oh, he said Ashley Young. That was the other one. Sorry, he said
Ashley Young coming back. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
you know what? Look, you want to see the best in people. I saw your TikTok, Ben, which kind of made me contact you because, like, you know, I'm not one for calling people out. We're all just trying to enjoy what we do, right? We're kind of trying to you know, talk about the Villa. We all love the Villa. We want to see them do well. You know, everyone wants to kind of have a piece of the pie, whatever. But if you're finding the need to kind of basically just make shit up, right, just for the likes of trying to get some views, mate. Like, I mean, come on, like, at least, I don't know, just be better. Just be better. Like,
I bantered him, to be fair.
The views of the Villa Park podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are a neutral podcast when it comes to other creators.
Yeah.
No, he does take the piss though. But moving back to the expectations, I think the expectations are really tough. But Ben, you seem to me like, go on then.
If you want to laugh, I'll show you something that'll make you laugh. So I messaged him because, you know, he's hello.
Yeah.
I thought that was iconic. Yeah. So what I did, I made literally a TikTok of a minute, just over a minute long, of his hellos, and you can tell his mood just by his hello, and it's fucking brilliant. But I asked him, said, "Do you mind if I post this?" And he was like, "Nah, don't post this. I don't know how much you can see, but watch it. Have a clip. Watch this."
You got to move it close to the mic.
Yeah, close to the mic.
We can't do this for a minute and a half, surely.
Oh, you gotta stop! Stop it! You hear him get sad in a minute because we must have had a bad result, and he's like, "Hello,
hello." Yeah. Sorry, Sam, you were going to say expectations.
Poor bloke can't even say hello, right? Fuck. What was I going to say? Expectations. Yeah, Ben strikes me as a particularly positive Villa fan.
I wouldn't say that, mate. If you see my TikTok stuff, I get hammered for it, to be honest with you. I'm Mr. Negative.
If you think you're being pessimistic by saying 7, again,
no.
maybe I'm quite rational about this, right? I just say, well, we can only go off like the evidence, right? Off what we've seen and what's happened in the summer, and lack of investment, players that have gone, players that we've brought in, the first 3 games. That I'm going to be a tough old year, boys. I'm going to lie to you. Yeah. I think it's when the season started, before the season started, we did on the Villa Park pod, we did our predictions, pre-season predictions, and I think I said 4th. I was because I'm the pessimistic one on our pod, and I was like, do you know what? Let's just try and infuse some energy in.
Yeah.
And at the end of that Newcastle game, I wanted to jump off the hole, and I was like, no, I don't like this. But I honestly it. Obviously, if we play the way that if we continue to play the way that we're playing, well, we're never going to win a game and we'll get relegated. But if we, even if our performances are inconsistent and teams are finding it easier to play against us, and got so many bogey teams in the league, like we might as well just be the whole league. And this is what I was trying to say to you guys earlier when you talk about, these are tricky fixtures. They're not tricky fixtures because of the fixtures. They're tricky fixtures because we're shit. That's what the problem is. But I think I agree with you, James. I think our best shot of really getting success out of the season is to win the Europa League. And you look at some of the teams in it, and you just think, we could win this. The Villa of last year, on paper, would have won this. But I tell you what, my problem is with Villa is it's always a dangerous tactic to bet on winning a cup, because cup competitions are mental. Like Martin O'Neill gambled on getting the Champions League through the Prem and threw away the UEFA Cup, and that worked out brilliant for us, as everyone knows. And but my problem is Villa's history in recent years of clutch games, like big games, big moments, and you look at some of them.
No bollocks.
It's just we're so bad. Like they're always games that we're expected to win. Like United last game of the season last year, it wasn't just that we lost the game; it's how bad we were. Palace in the FA Cup semi-final. Until the Man United game, I hadn't seen us play worse than we played at Palace, and even like Sheffield United to go top at Christmas, and just those games where we can capitalise, even when the small ones, like the draws that we had. Some of the draws we had last year was Ipswich, and just games where the teams around us had fumbled, and we knew this, and then we could capitalise on it. We just never do, and I don't know. I think there's a mentality issue about grasping big moments. And I think that in the Champions League last year, the pressure was never on us. We were never expected to win anything. And even, against PSG in the first leg, we thought, we might be able to do something here. Completely battered in the first leg. And the second leg, we're already 3-1 down. So the shackles are off again. And then we go and produce an absolute fucking masterclass. And it's like, we seem to only be able to play when the game's already lost.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've noticed that, like even against Brentford, first half did absolutely nothing. Second half, 80%. We always play in the second half. The same against Palace. We tried. Emi Buendia comes on, changes the game in the second half. We always wait until it's too late to start playing. And I just there's a mentality issue here. And for me, the first 3 games of the season will have done absolutely nothing to help us there. And I think the summer hasn't either. And it's just one of those things where are we going to win the Europe? Can we win the Europa League? Of course we can. Like personnel-wise, of course we can. Will we? Yeah. I just have not seen enough from Villa in my lifetime to suggest that if there's a final, a big clutch moment, that we're going to just go and do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've said we just bottle it. We seem to bottle in these big moments. We always seem to, and it's the Europa League. I mean, the Europa League's not going to be. It's even with the teams in it. It's not going to be easy. You saw us in the Conference League, away from home. Like we couldn't buy a win in half of our away games. Like we're so bad away from home, and I really worry about us in Europe. In Europe, like I mean, that Monaco game was probably. I mean, you talk about the Palace game. Jesus Christ, that Monaco game.
Yeah, we were shit, weren't we?
Paint dry.
That Monaco game was the day my son was born. On that day, he was born. He was born.
At least you had some joy, mate.
Yeah,
he was born at 4:00, right? And the game was on at 5. Was it 5:30?
Yeah, it was. Yes,
a 5:00 kickoff or something like that. So. An hour old, this tiny little baby boy is in my arms, and I have to subject him to that shit for the first hour of his life. I literally, the game finished. I just looked at him and I just went, "Mate, I'm so sorry." For this, for every game that comes afterwards, I'm fuming that was his first ever game on this earth with us getting battered by Monaco, not touching the ball.
I hope you said welcome to being an Aston Villa fan.
Yeah, honestly, I feel bad for them, but they have no choice. I've got no choice. Like they're in it now. It's too late.
Yeah,
too late.
Guilty by association. So
I think personally, though, I still would die on a hill that if we had the squad depth for the Conference League, we would have won that. We 100% would have won that.
But Ben, he doesn't rotate though. Can I ask you a question just on that point before you move on? Like Emery has a really bad habit of not rotating well in the right games. Like when it comes to cup games or like whether it's a League Cup or I don't know what it's called now, Carabao, Coca-Cola, whatever it is, Carling. Like in the League Cup, he needs to switch stuff around. He doesn't. In the games when players aren't playing well, like Morgan Rogers at the second half of last season was blowing, mate. He was knackered.
He was.
Never took him off, not even for a minute.
No.
Didn't give him a second. He just doesn't. He doesn't. And I love Unai Emery. Like I know that a lot of people are questioning Unai Emery. I'm 100% Emery in, and he's got my support until we get relegated to League One. Even then I'll probably start questioning him. Like I have full faith in the dude, but there are a lot of things that he does that I don't like. But the reason that I don't question it too much is because you can't argue with the results, right? Europe 3 seasons in a row, Champions League, semi-final of the FA Cup, quarterfinals of the Champions, like all these great things that have happened. You just a whole year, by the way, this game against Palace, one whole calendar year that we hadn't been beaten at home. Yeah. And it's hard, even though I hate how slow we are in the build-up and I want to see more attacking football and I don't want to see Matty Cash play football anymore and I don't want to see Pau Torres, just sit there and get blown away by a strong breeze. Like, you can't argue with the results. And this is what we've got. Why it works doesn't make sense to me. But, we've had influxes of players last year like Rashford and Asensio. Ollie Watkins, I've always said, is a purple patch player. He'll go 10 without scoring, then he'll have 10 on, then 10 off. And the stars have aligned for us in the last couple of years and the right things have happened. Man City dropped off last year or the year that we were in the Champions League. And all these things have kind of come together. And Spurs, Man United last year finishing in the bottom 5. Like, this isn't going to happen every year. Like, yeah, I wonder if the way that other teams are strengthening as well. Like, just look at everyone signing players. Like, even Everton, they look mint now as well. And it's just are we getting left behind because we're not? We're losing some of our better players. Well, and
the club can't really do anything about it, though, can they? Because of the mistake. Well, it's the club's fault. Let me just get that completely out there, because of the money that we spent in previous years, obviously has been spent very poorly. I do get into a bit of a point where I do question some of the recruitment under Emery and Monchi, because realistically, how many players have come in and affected the squad thoroughly, especially.
Forget some of the recruitment, all of it. Like, look at that team that played. Like, the only Emery players that are there are Morgan Rogers and Tielemans. That's it.
It's what it is worrying defensively. We say, if you think about it, deep it really, our strongest defense is probably Matty Cash, which fucking is painful to say. Then Ezri Konsa, Tyrone Mings, and Luca Digne. It is, and none of them players.
That's Dean Smith's back 5, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Came in under Gerrard. That's Dean Smith's back 5. You've got Ollie Watkins, Dean Smith. You've got Kamara, Steven Gerrard. You got and then whoever else is in the middle is always sort of the one that doesn't play, like Anana or whoever it is. He's like, there's not enough Emery players. And you talk about, it's not the club's fault. We've just got Jadon Sancho in. We're trying to lower the wage bill, 200 grand a week. We're paying more, 80% of that's 160 grand. You've got Marlon, who's on a 140 grand a week contract, wasn't registered for the Champions League, is a bench player at best. Like, at some point, we've got to say, hold on a second. God knows how much Lindelof, we've probably given him the rights to Villa Park just to sit on the bench. Like, it is like, at some point, it is our fault, right?
Well, I think the Marlon one, that one's terrible, personally.
Marlon, I just can't understand. I'm just baffled by it. I'm baffled by the whole thing. Like, I can only imagine that it was because we always said that was because we last minute got Rashford in, so then we were switching out to like using the left rather than using the right, and we had to play him because he's on loan. He's only on loan for a period, and we wanted to use him, so Marlon missed out, and because of that, he hasn't had minutes. He hasn't gone up to speed, and we can't. We now kind of got him, and we're like, well, we need to use him, but now he's got to get going. And this is the problem with Emery not always rotating the right players as well, is that he famously seems to just integrate new signings very slowly. Like, I don't expect Elliott or Sancho to play against Everton, if I'm honest. No. I think he'll go with the usual.
Oh God, if you see John McGinn at right midfield, I'm going to kill myself.
If you see John McGinn at right midfield. Yeah, and that's the kind of but that's the kind of manager Emery is. I don't know why we suddenly think he's going to change his mind. Like, he's suddenly just going to go, oh yeah, screw it. Like,
this is the point, though. It's like, it's an evidence-based game, right? We talk about, we're going to do this and we're going to change this. Well, on the balance of probability, Emery's probably going to stick to his guns because he's had a lot of success with it, not just at Villa, but previously. He's won the Europa League, 4 times? Like, you can't question him. He's just going to say, look, I've done this before. You need to either let me fail or succeed in my own way. And I think he's earned the right for us to do that. But it's weird when we as fans can all look at one issue and say, that's clearly not right.
Yeah.
And they either don't get it or they keep persisting with the same way. By the way, who's got Matty Cash on corners? What's Austin McPhee doing?
Absolutely don't get Gary out about Austin McPhee.
Stealing a living there. I couldn't believe. When I saw Matt, I was like, if anyone has displayed that they have no ability to cross the ball in world football, it's Matty Cash. Why is he on corners? You've got 6 players standing around the ball in a corner. It's not a free kick. Someone get in the fucking box. And every single time we have a corner, they either score on the counter or it ends up going back to Bezo. Like, what is going on here?
Mate, Austin McPhee, I don't know how he survived like 4 managers. I know we had statistically, apparently we had set pieces were great last year, but me and James have talked about this stat for about 6 months. I want to know off every set piece, right? How many times we've gone back to the goalkeeper or give away a throw-in? Where you just kind of, you couldn't make it up, and he's standing there on the edge of that technical area as if he's some sort of genius, and I just don't see it. Like, I just don't. Like you put it out with Matty Cash on corners, whether it be just delivering the ball in the box when Cash wasn't taking corners. This short corner routine where John McGinn comes short and they play out and try and whip it in. Like, what are we trying to do?
I've got one for you, Gary. I've got one for you. How about swing it into the back post and someone heads it back across?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever seen that one?
I'll tell you what royally fucks me off about our corners. We've got an absolute monster in Onana, and the cunt hasn't scored one since fucking West Ham, wasn't he? Fucking make that make sense.
To be fair, Ben, he's only 6'10". You
got a fucking giant in the box. Don't put the ball on his head.
Tyrone Mings 6'5", but because of his hair, he can't direct it. It just goes where it goes.
It's baffling. I mean,
it is baffling. I think, the problem is this season now is we've got to just literally draw a line in the sand and consolidate what we've got and get the best out of them to do anything. So if we are going to win the Europa League, whether we like it or not, Cash is probably going to play the majority of the season at right back. He's got to up his game. He's got to be better. Like what are they training for? Do you know what I mean? Ollie Watkins has got to be more clinical in front of goal. We need to score more goals. Last season was a joke. Like, look at the goal difference. Like, it was just, we were conceding goals for fun and not scoring goals. Something that has to change. So if Emery's going to dig his heels into the sand and go, right, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not going to change the way I'm playing, and these are the clientele, then those players have to fucking, look, their work rate's got to be more. It's got to be better. Everything's got to be better. Everything's got to be quicker. Everything's got to be more clinical in that final third. And because the players that are there, I feel like a Champions League team, most of them, the majority of them played together last year.
Are they a Champions League team or are they? I have a question. How many of those players played in the Championship?
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like.
But it's all about development, right? You move with the times, yeah. So yes, they start the championship.
These players are getting older, Gary. Like, take a look at them. They're all. The squad is aging. You've got John McGinn.
Come on, Sam. They're professional athletes, man. They're being paid hundreds of thousands of pounds at 30, 20.
Yeah, but that doesn't make your legs move any faster. You could give me 100 grand. I'm not going to beat Usain Bolt in a race. Like, it is what it is. Like, do you know what I mean? They're getting older. You need to supplement them with quality. Like the old heads that are there, they need to be there, and it's fine. But you need to supplement.
No, I agree with that.
You need to supplement them with like younger talent. And this is the problem with Villa. Like, we had a transfer policy of bringing in really young players and like trying to. Get them to where we want them to be and raise their level, improve their game. And then we're like, actually, you know what? Forget that. We're only going to sign established people who are at least 27. And that's how we're going to compete, is by having people who already are at the top of their game or have been at the top of the game at some point. And it's like, it's the same thing with the tactics. It's not about one or the other. It's you need to do both. Look at everyone's transfer. Like, everyone who has a good transfer window has a really nice mix of youth that they actually plan on integrating, like you say, playing them in cup games and rotating it, and then they get more experience heads. It's a balance of both, and we don't have that. And I don't know if it's because, like Ben says, we've been so hamstrung in the transfer window. If it's a poor policy thing, because you look at Marlon and Sancho. By the way, that's 20 million we spent on Marlon, 140 grand a week. Sancho, we paid £8 million for the loan fee, something like that, and then he's getting 160, 200 grand a week. It's like, that's 30 million and 300 grand a week. What could you have done with that? Could you have gone out and done something a bit smarter? But they don't do that because they want established players. And it feels like now we're kind of almost playing FIFA where we want the names.
I'll tell you another problem. We self-inflicted ourselves by going and signing Onana for 50 million. And also Maatsen for me for 30, was it 37.5? Now, the Maatsen one might be a bit of a dodgy PSR deal. There's no way that Amari Kellerman would have gone to Chelsea for 19 million. So the Maatsen one, okay. But we had Boubacar Kamara and Yuri Tielemans at centre midfield. There was no way he was coming in and walking into our side. So why the fuck did they think it was a good idea? I'm going to go spend £50 million on someone that Everton fans called him the cheerleader, and we're seeing it ourselves because the bloke he's made of fucking crisps, man. He just falls to pieces.
Oh, mate, that's quite funny you just said Chris. Someone literally put on TikTok said 6'10" but made out of crisps.
Well, George has put a good one. George said he's like a tampon. He's in 1 week and then out for 3.
Mate, that was the best. When I heard that, I was literally howling.
It was really good. But the thing is, he's the kind of player you want. Either way, I've got a lot of time for Onana. I actually think he's a quality player. I hate how much he gets injured. Yeah, I hate how much he gets injured. But if he could stay fit for longer than a week, I think it would actually be.
Well, I think that Bournemouth game away last season when Tielemans was out injured, he was outstanding.
How many times have we saw it though? Like fucking hell, we've seen him at the start of last season, and then that Bournemouth game. But apart from that, realistically, what else?
I think that's harsh. I think he's shown quality throughout the season in different.
So he should. He's a £50 million fucking midfielder.
What is £50 million now? It's nothing. Like. But the thing is, that's not his fault as well. And when he came in, he was really young. What was he, 22, 21, 22?
Yeah, very young.
Like people forget because Onana looks like he's got like 17 grandchildren. That he's older than he is. He's literally 23, 24. Like he's the same age as Morgan Rogers, and we don't put the same kind of pressure. It's just the price tag is what it is. Like but the
thing is, like, so with those price tags, they do make you wonder, and there needs to be more, right? Because I agree with both of you, but Sam and Ben. I think for £50 million, he should have more influence. He should be dominating midfields. Like that game against Brentford last week, he got out muscled by Jordan Henderson. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of. That's inexcusable for me as a £50 million player. You've got to be better. So, but I like him, and I think what he brings to the team as well in the dressing room. Obviously, he's a character. Like he's got something about him. But we need more consistency. That's the bottom line on that one. And if he doesn't, we're going to struggle.
I've had a mate of mine just text me. He's a Spurs fan. He said, "By the way, 50 million gets you Xavi Simons." So.
Yeah, well, that's unproven though, isn't it? Let's see how he performs in the Premier League. So,
I reckon he looks a player and a half. I reckon.
Yeah, he does. But
he does.
How many players have said, "Oh, they look fantastic"? Comes to the Premier League and absolute wank. So,
to be fair, Maddison looked pretty good before he went to Spurs. And talk about a croc bar.
Maddison, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You tell him, Ben. Do you want me to send him a message? What should I say? Ben says, "Go fuck yourself." All right. There you go.
Yeah, Ben says, "Fuck Spurs."
Let them carry beat Spursy.
Yeah, but I think Ben's point was the point that I made right at the top of the show is good players, but are they what we needed? Anana's a good player, but was he what we needed at the
Definitely
time?
Definitely
not. 100%. Yeah.
But I guess the question is sort of moving on for how dire the state of the squad is I think the best question is, now that we know what we've got, how do we change our trajectory? What's going to happen that's going to change the tempo and the mood around the club? Or what's going to get the players playing with a bit more what needs to happen? Because by the way, I have no answer to this. Like, I don't know how Emery does it. Yeah,
Sorry, I think we're going for a massive transition period as a football club, to be honest with you. I think this season, if we can get European football, it's a massive achievement again. But I do think we're going to wait until next summer. There's a few players that will leave. I think Emi Martínez will be gone either at January or next summer. I think January most likely with what's going on. I wouldn't be surprised next summer if some of the older guard do move on, like your John McGinns. I don't know about Tyrone. I think Tyrone Mings will stay around because of his, he will retire probably at the Villa. He's going to probably get another club, but I think McGinn will potentially move on. And we do genuinely need to have a bit of an uplift in the squad.
We do.
With what money though, Ben? This is the problem.
Next summer we should have a bit more. We should have a bit more flexibility.
Ironically, though, actually, I think if
we won't be in Europe.
I was going to say if we hadn't got Europe, we actually would have been able to strengthen more than we had, because it's the European SCR and the European PSR rules.
This is the problem. What are we trying to do here? We're trying to win. We're trying to get into Europe, right? That's the pinnacle of what we're trying to be. But if we get in there, that's going to hamstring us. And otherwise,
that is literally. That's why these rules are screwed. That's why they're and I think there has to be this refresh, and like Ben was talking about, the changing of the guard, because that will bring our wage down, and so the revenue won't be such a massive problem. Whereas we only just got rid of Coutinho. He used to know our freaking books. Like Dendoncker was like 90 grand a week, whatever he's on.
That's ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, and then by then the warehouse will be up and open. You'll have the North Stand redevelopment while on the way.
By the way, North Stand redevelopment was about 10 million a year.
But that doesn't count towards PSR, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's 10 million a year. Pocket change.
Fuck it. Go knock down the Doug Ellis and fucking build a massive stand there as well, because that's a shit stand.
Yeah.
I like sitting there because I like the view and that, but the fucking stand itself and the facilities in there are absolutely fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's like, we kind of, let's assume that we do want to stay in Europe and we manage to shithouse our way into one of those positions, even if it's a Conference League. Like, what, in the next 2 years, we need to break even as a club? And our revenue still, like, what is it now, 85% taken up by wages? And the thing is, you do the big removal of the squad, and you get rid of the Coutinhos, you get rid of the Dendonkers, and you take a loss on it, and all the other players who are sort of way too high paid, and then you bring in people like Sancho on 200 grand a week, and it's like, why are you negating all the work that you've done? Like, but this is what I'm trying to say. It's like,
have you seen the cash goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it great? Is it quality?
It's a joke.
Yeah. Oh, he's like what's his name on Bullseye? Jim Bowie. And he's like, this is what you could have won. This is what I could be doing for you, but I'm not going to.
Yeah,
it's a speedboat.
It's a speedboat. But normally he looks like he's got speedboats on his fucking feet. But it's a tough one. Like, I don't see how this is going to change. I think you need someone to like really bring the squad together. And this might be a bit controversial. I don't think it is, but I think someone's got to take that captaincy off Guinea. By the way, he's not the leader the way that he needs to be the leader as a captain. He leads by example, and you should always have players like that on the pitch. But he's not. For me, he's not a captain. He's just the player who's been there the longest, or is the player who everyone likes the most.
I think
our vice captain's a cunt as well, so we need to change that.
Our vice captain wants to be the vice captain somewhere else.
I think the thing about McGinn is, I think the thing that McGinn does do though is that he just shows that heart and that grit on the pitch. He's sometimes the only one. He'll literally just run from the halfway line straight at like their left back and just plow into him. And it kind of gets the whole team and the whole crowd going. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only thing that a captain should do. And he's probably not as vocal on the pitch as, say, like Tyrone Mings or something like that, right? But I think that just the way that he's one of those players on the pitch that can take the game by the scruff of the neck and just go, right, we're having you. Like, we're going
out. Yuri Tillemans, Villa captain.
Yeah, 100%. He just got Belgium. Why not?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think that.
But he's also quite quiet as well.
Put the words out of my mouth, Ben.
Yeah, but the thing is, if he gets given the captaincy, you might even see him go to another tier. Like, I love McGinn, and I think what he's done to the football club, no one can ever question what he's done. But at the point, there is a point where you have to think, like, look, I've got a cockapoo and he runs around like a cunt, but I'm not going to put him as centre middle fucking right wing for Villa, am I? You know what I mean? So
I'm just going to get that goal up. Actually, I've got it here.
Why are we doing this? What?
Just to piss us off.
We're just doing like a bullseye thing.
No, that's actually quite ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not ridiculous. It's fine. You just bang the top corner from the edge of the box.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, why don't you shoot for Villa, Knob, instead of just fucking cutting back? Or
he's told not to, mate. To be fair,
he's on a bonus. He's on a bonus for getting assists for the other team. But you know, it's like
at this point, I'm thinking Unai's coaching him to do it. Don't you ever cross the border or shoot.
I think we talk about the tempo of the play and the way that we. You know, the way that we pass the ball, like so often you've got the three men in the middle, and instead of this guy passing straight to this guy, you have to go through the middle guy. And I think the tempo thing, the way that we pass the ball forwards, the way that we progress the ball forward, I think that is Unai. I don't think that's the players. Because you can see them.
Oh, I agree.
At this moment in time, they also don't want to be the one to make the mistake and give away the ball. Yeah. But at the same time, you just see this slow progression and pass it side to side. And that's not a natural footballer's thing to do. You want to turn and face. So I think there's got to be an element of this is what they're being told to do. No one's told Matt Cash to do any of the things that he's done, by the way. That's just it.
One thing I would like to add on the captaincy piece, ultimately the armband doesn't make a leader, and I think there's certain players on the pitch that just need to show a bit more of a pair of bollocks and actually perform and show that they're because we've got top international players. I've just mentioned one, Yuri Tillemans. Like Boubacar Kamara, when he's on the pitch now, he's not a young kid anymore. He's like, 24 now, 23, 24. So he's one of our best players. Show it you're one of our best players. And that's not to say Boubacar Kamara doesn't, because I think Boubacar Kamara is an absolute sensational footballer. Ezri Konsa, for me, he has been playing at the top level now for a long time for Villa. He's been around the dressing room for a long time. Use your voice. You are... You could potentially consider him a senior pro in comparison to some of the players in the side. Yeah. We've got to have players now that start to grab it by the grip of it and actually start to fucking move the team forward instead of going into their shell and letting fucking teams like Crystal Palace fucking dump on us, because that performance, I swear to God, was one of the most embarrassing performances I've ever seen from Aston Villa. I thought the semi-final was bad, and that was fucking horrendous. But to get turned over 3-0 in your own backyard by them like that was utterly spineless.
So that goes back to my point in that all those players you've just mentioned with the captaincy and like this is what needs to happen, right? Those guys need to step up to the plate and be counted for and drag us forward out of this lull, and it goes down to the business being whatever you think of it. Like there'll be people that sit on either side of the fence, but some of it we're going to say it's poor and we should have done better. But it is really what it is now. We've got what we've got. So now, like, whatever's happened, because it generally feels to me like, and I want to move on to like the Martinez saga, right? Because I think it's had more of an impact on the team than we'll ever know, right? And let's just like kind of put it to the group, like, what are we thinking about that? How has he handled the situation? Is it his fault? Is it kind of our fault? Is it what the fuck's gone on there? Because it's just ultimately pissed me right off.
I can't wait to see Martinez's team talk at the next game. Come on, boys. Look, I know we'd all rather be somewhere else, but we're here now. So let's see.
I think it's quite evidently clear that the players think he's a prick. You see the post from Tyrone Mings, for example. That and the one he did, I think it was literally yesterday, and he's put a picture with Bizot in the background. He has not done that for no reason. He has done that 100% cynically. And I'm sorry, but that dressing room, they hate him. They absolutely hate him.
Jacob Tanswell, I think he said that like he's a difficult character and it's okay when he's playing well, but when he's not playing well, like last season, he kind of was like a bit up and down. The player, like, it drives them mad. Like,
yeah, there's been loads of rumours floating around that he's a prick. Like, he throws his toys out the pram. He's refused to play games multiple times. Crystal Palace at halftime, apparently he just said like, enough's enough. I'm going off. Chelsea, I think it was Chelsea away, Man City away. He was just like, we're going to get dicked. I don't want to play. And ultimately, if that's how he is as a character, no, I've got no evidence that is actually true. Like, we're just fans at the end of the day. But if that's how he is, get the fuck out of the football club, because at the end of the day, no one is bigger than the football club. No one's bigger than the badge. And ultimately, if you got players like your McGinns, Luca Dean, these sort of players that are going to reduce their wages just to stay at the club, that's the sort of characters you want around, not this dickhead. Go and have your move to Manchester United. Do one.
It's interesting because obviously the next 2 games are away from home. It would have been interesting to see what the reception would have been if Everton was at home.
Well, the question is, does he play?
I don't know, man. I don't think he should. I really don't think he should. And if anything, I think if we're going to play him, I would be like, well, okay, but the next 5 games, you're sitting on the bench.
It will be that
150 grand on the bench.
Yeah.
So are you guys saying fucking basically we don't draw a line in the sand and we don't forgive him and he doesn't play, or do we give him 5 games on the bench and he comes back and plays?
What is this, the timeout? We're going to put him make him face the wall in the corner.
Yeah.
Realistically, he's going to come back in, isn't he? He will play. He will. But I don't want him to personally. If I had my way, I would fuck him off.
Yeah. Whilst we're sitting there telling Morgan Rogers to grow up because his mates left, at the same time, do we have to almost a little bit do the same thing and just grow up and realize that, well, okay, look, do we play our best player in that position, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, the holder of the Aston Trophy and the FIFA Best Man goalkeeper of the, like, come on, like. I get it. I did a little bit on the Villa Park podcast about what we should do or how we should temper expectation when it comes to loyalty from football players. Like, at the end of the day, this is a job for them. And Emi Martínez, for probably there's a plethora of reasons that he wants to go. One, because he thinks he's the shit now, and his attitude has changed towards himself. He came in quite humble, having never had an opportunity, and to be fair to him, he's come in and he's been incredible. He's won the World Cup. He's won all these individual honours. He's been regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and there's probably part of him that thinks, "Oh, do you know what? Like, I'm probably ready for something bigger and better." He's probably pissed off about not being able to make the signings, and he was probably trying to jump ship, if I'm being honest, before we sank. I think that there's a big.
I've got loads of comments popping up on TikTok going, we should love him. He's a World Cup winner. We don't
have to love him. This is the thing. We don't have to love him. And what's really good is you don't whack him on the bench and sit him in the naughty corner for 5 games. You make him go and earn it back.
Yeah.
Go and earn it back. You're not getting shit from us. I'm not going to boo you. We're not going to be. You're not the world's number one until you do.
It'll be interesting.
It depends what Martinez we get though, guys. Like, fucking.
This is what I was say. I think his head's gone.
Since January, he's been fucking shite. Like, he has been terrible.
Yeah. I think his head's gone. I think this is part of it. I think it'll be interesting to see how he plays, because
players can turn it around, right? Duran was hated for the West Ham thing, and then he's by the time he's scoring that wonder goal against Bayern Munich, everyone wants to.
I think people were less concerned about Duran because they didn't have, like, Emi Martínez has been firmly a fan favourite. We've loved him.
Absolutely.
That connection was there. John Duran was kind of
players ever.
But
I think John Duran was consistently a cunt, weren't he? Let's be realistically. He had that in his locker. We knew what we was getting from him. Whereas Martinez has been this model pro for X amount of time when he's been at us, and then literally he's just turned into an absolute shithouse. That's the crux of it, isn't it?
Shithouse is the only way that you would describe Emi Martinez in the first place. And my point is, I think we need to reassess how much loyalty we expect from footballers to our clubs. It's not like he's one of our own. It's not like Jack Grealish or. I didn't have massive issues with Jack Grealish going, but the thing is, why would he offer any more loyalty to us than what he's already given? Like, he probably could have left last year if he'd have pushed through a move, and after he won the World Cup, he probably could have gone somewhere else. Fine. I don't like the way he's gone about it. I don't like the way that he's he's clearly been telling people around the squad, this has been reported by multiple different sources. I'm going, I'm off. And probably people didn't like that because he probably said it with a big fat smile on his face. And now he's sat there, eating humble pie. But the point is, at the end of the day, for him, it's a job. For us, it's life, right? This is passion. This is, we sit here in pain to do all of this thing. And it's fine. But if he is in the right frame of mind, if he's going to be professional about it and come and say, look, you don't have to love me, but I'm going to play my best. I'm going to earn my 150 grand a week. Let him play, man, because we need all the help we can get. And with all respect,
we don't want to weaken the squad, right?
I'm not. He's been like in the first game, he was like solid, and then against Palace, he didn't look so solid in those bigger moments. And we need our best players. We have a big shortage, a depleted squad, shortage of quality in our team, and he brings that in that position if his head's screwed on. So you have to play him.
That's the risk, isn't it?
That is the risk. I think
it is a risk,
guys, but I have like a head and heart response to these things, right? So my heart is all the fan thing, like, and when it happened, you go, "Fuck you, Martinez," right in the reserves. Like, I hope you don't get into the World Cup squad for Argentina, and you don't, we just go away from my club. But having had 3 days to think about it, it's like at the end of the day, it's football. It happens. Like it's going to continue to happen. We've got to draw a line in the sand, as I've said numerous times, and just as long as we get the Martinez that we know can play, like, then brilliant. But if he's got. It doesn't matter what we think. He's got to go into that dressing room and fucking build some bridges, because clearly he's everyone's pissed off with him and don't like him. So, and you don't have to like people you work with. You go in, you go, I'm here to do a job. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and I'm going to fuck off afterwards. And he can go in January then, as long as he pulls out all the stops. If he doesn't, and he disrupts the squad even more, then get him gone. Get him gone as quickly as possible. Don't play him. But if he comes back and can be the model professional that we know he is, then let's play him, and we, like you say, Sam, we need all the help we can fucking get at the moment, because without him, we are a weaker team.
There's a couple of comments here actually that I want to pick up on. So one from Sharik, who's I think he was on the Villa podcast the other day actually. If fans boo Martinez, I wonder how he would react to that, given his explosive nature. Would he just give sarcasm back?
He'd probably like save a penalty and start doing that with the ball.
Do we think that? Do we think the fans will boo him? Because I genuinely think there'll be a portion that will give him an absolute shit.
Yeah, well, I've read mate, some of the stuff I've seen online, like, I'm surprised
it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting.
We take it so personally, and this is my problem. Yeah. Like, let's give you an example. You work for Renault, yeah? You get 50 grand a year, and then Ferrari come in and say, "Hey, mate, would you like a job doing the exact same thing with us, but we're going to give you 150 grand a year? What do you reckon?" Who's sitting there going, "Oh, but Renault have been so good to me." Like, oh, I'm gone, mate.
I've said this before. Yeah, it's like going from like a shitty tech company to like Google.
Yeah.
But I suppose part of the annoyance, actually, I think me and Gary are actually sitting there going, I don't mind him leaving, but not Man U.
Yeah,
of course, Man U. What do you mean, lads, not Man U?
I'm sorry, but the Villa picked him out of Arsenal. He was an absolute fucking nobody, and without us bringing him to Villa and giving him the minutes and giving him the time, he would bollocks, mate. He would never have got in that Argentina squad.
Yeah, fine, he wouldn't have, but it doesn't matter.
Like, he wouldn't have won a World Cup.
Yeah, but you got an opportunity. What does he owe us? His life and soul. He's got to sacrifice his kids to us at some point. Like,
well, maybe not, but go about it a little bit better.
But Ben, we've got as much out of him as he's got out of us. He's succeeded. We've succeeded. There's been a mutual thing here. He's got paid. We've succeeded. Like, what? Like, why is it we've given this opportunity? Like, he's done nothing for us. We've had it back. We've had great years with him. Why does he owe us any more than that? And by the way, can I just say, if he turns shit now that he had a poor half to the second half of the season, and by the way, I didn't hear one thing from Martinez over the summer about wanting to leave. All of this is behind closed doors. So behind closed doors, he wants to leave, and then he still played against Brentford, and he's had a half a shit season. And there's rumours about him wanting to go. And look how quickly we've turned on him. What loyalty does he deserve from us? What loyalty do we give to him? It's bollocks. It's football. Football is like. You should not expect that loyalty from anyone apart from your own fans, or maybe one of your own. Someone like a JJ who's clearly hurt about going. That makes sense. And the reason Jack going hurt so much wasn't because he left in the first place, but because of how fucking happy he was to get out of there. It makes sense for him to go. I don't know why this expectation. What's this level of loyalty that we expect from? Oh, he'd been rotting in. Yeah, fine, maybe he would have been, but we've succeeded because he succeeded. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship. It's not been one way. So
just I like the opinions, boys. That's good, man. Like, it's opposing.
Yeah, right? I'm still firmly on the side of fuck him, to be honest with you, but each to their own.
And then I'm not going to give him a bouquet of flowers when he gets on the pitch, but my point is, like,
are you sure?
I Tina flag behind you.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I'm not going to cut off my nose to spite my face. Like, I still think he's the best option in goal. Play him. And then if you think booing him is going to help him get a better performance, then by all means, but I don't care about Martinez. I care about Villa. Like, who is our best option in goal? It's Martinez. And is booing him gonna help him play better, or is it gonna make him worse? It's probably gonna make him worse. He's probably gonna walk off halfway through, and we'll lose the sub. Like, I don't care about Martinez. I don't care about any one player. Like, after Jack left, honestly, like, I was dead inside to it. Like, players come and go. And you think I'd have learned with Gareth Barry and Fabian Delph and Benteke and all these other players that have gone and broke my heart. But the point is, I don't care about him. He'll come. We'll get another goalkeeper. We'll get another player that we love, and we'll get another player that we love, and we'll do that until I die. I care about what's best for Villa right now. We're in the fucking dumps. We are just in such a shitty position. We need our best players in all those positions. And I just don't think booing him's going to help. What about boom Matty Cash, though, because you get the same performance either way. I'm fine with that.
So what about the JJ thing then? Because this, for me, like, just smelt like shit all over it, because it's kind of, he didn't want to leave. It looked like we didn't want to sell him. We offered him improved terms. And then as the Martinez saga impacted that side of JJ, that it had to happen.
Yeah, of course it has.
So,
if Martinez fucks off early, then JJ doesn't go. So we've got that prick we were just speaking about to blame for it, really, in my opinion.
And that's disgruntled the dressing room, right? Is that what we're thinking? Obviously, no.
Yeah,
briefly, but for me, that's pissed everybody off and gone. Look at. I've never seen in a transfer players like come out so publicly and speak about against the transfer. I've never seen it in the history of social media. Like, show me anyone else that other players from other teams that have done that when a player's been sold. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it was a good deal for us, like, in terms of money wise. We said at the start of the show, but as someone who's one of our own, who we've all watched grow up, who for me has been unfortunate with injuries, right? But on his day, this could have been a good season for JJ. It turns out he's injured again because he went off at half time, didn't he, against Leeds for Newcastle last week? But like, it's done damage in that squad that I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? What's the overall consensus?
I mean, it doesn't. There's no smoke without fire, right? Like, it doesn't look good. What the players have come out and said. I think at the end of the day, we probably just. I think I said this to you before. I was like, look, there's a market value for a player. There's terms that a player wants potentially to have. I don't think it was all one way. I think, he's kind of sitting there going, and like Sam just said, if someone comes along and offers you the right money and the money that is your market rate, then you'll go. But I think at the same time, Villa were like, we need to go. We need him to go. So actually, it's not really shit on him or the club. It is the club, because the club have put themselves in this position. But it's these bullshit rules that have basically made it happen. And that's why John McGinn has already talked about PSR and all these rules. Emery's talked about multiple times. Vidigani, all that. Like, everyone has basically talked about how these are screwing us over. And this is a prime example of it, because we knew this was going to have to happen. Someone senior was going to have to go. Whether it was Emi Martínez, whether it was Watkins, whether it was JJ, someone was going to have to go. And at the end of the day, we needed a bid. We never got one for Emi Martínez. We never got one for Watkins. We didn't get these bids. Whereas the bid came in for JJ, and we had to sell it. It's just the way it worked.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it, with the Martinez piece? And I think this is what frustrated probably the players, that he's acting this big shot, going around the dressing room, telling everyone that he's fucking off in the summer. No bid comes, and then effectively we lose JJ, who wants to be at the football club just because we can't do anything else, and we have to make a sale. And unfortunately, when we've got him still there on 150k a week, which is nothing against Emi Martinez, because realistically, at the time when he was given that contract extension, every single Villa fan, me included, was like, Thank the Lord, he signed a new contract. We're well happy. I could see him here forever. Stay here till you retire. But ultimately, that isn't the Martinez that we've seen towards the back end of the season. And whether the club have had an impact on that, I highly believe that they have. I do think that there has been conversations between them and him and the club to say, look, we're open to letting you go. And that probably has impacted his performances. But ultimately, you're a professional footballer. You've got a job to do. Do your job. That's my view on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think on that, I'm probably going to wrap it up there. That's one hell of a load of different opinions there. It's quite interesting to hear everyone's different opinions. We should, it'd be quite good though if we end up beating Everton and beating Sunderland, whether we have this conversation then, where it would be quite different. So we'll have to see how we get on, as always. But we will be back on Monday, chatting also about everything that's coming up, and might even reflect a little bit on the international break a little bit. And I think, Gary, are we going to have a guest on Monday?
We've got a guest on, True Adventures from TikTok. He's coming on to kind of tell us a bit about what he's doing. He's got some stuff coming up with the Witten Arms and stuff. So we're kind of, he might even sing us a song. I don't know.
Oh, fantastic.
Every week we follow.
That sounds very homely.
The boys in claret and blue.
Brilliant. Do you want to sing us out? Because that's usually how we end this.
Well, absolutely, boys. I just want to say, Ben, Sam, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, difference of opinion is what it is. I hope you both enjoyed it. Like, we should do it again. Like James said, hopefully, if things starts to get better, or we can just come on and have another slagging match about how shit we are.
I feel like Ben's going to try and catch me outside Villa Park at this point. When I
Mate, I hope to see you in your boots, mate, taking over Matty Cash. So
sure.
Hope you can cross
these last couple of stone, and I'll be fine.
That's the dream, boys. But just listen out for me because it's coming. Every week we follow the boys in claret and blue. Nice one, lads.
Guys.
Cheers. Take it easy, boys.
See ya.